You are a rude, terrible person.
You're an idiot!
You recognize this woman? You know her, right? That's Amy Coney Barrett. She's a little nuts, but I'm optimistic she might be our best bet yet for stopping this skin tag from doing even more harm.
We cannot allow a handful of communist, radical left judges to obstruct the enforcement of our laws and assume.
Trump has removed any and all doubt that he's everything you don't want in a leader. He's weak and afraid.
It's not fair.
He bullies the weak and the vulnerable.
Donald Trump and his allies have started mapping out specific plans to use the federal government, to punish his critics and opponents.
And his mental illness is accelerating like a runaway train. And now, Man-Titty seems poised to attack the U.S. Supreme Court. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, please subscribe to Really American on YouTube. It doesn't cost a thing, and it guarantees you'll be in the loop as we fight Donnie Diaper's attack on our sacred institutions. But first, this is important. Trump's success as a sociopathic dictator is less an indication of his ability.
I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
And more a testament or a reflection of the weakness in the Republican Party.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore!
It's actually impressive that so many men and women dropped to their knees before this traitorous cow with little or no hesitation. I mean, from Ted Cruz.
The man is utterly amoral. This man is a pathological liar.
I'm proud to have worked hand in hand with President Trump.
To Lindsey Graham.
I think he's a kook. I think he's uninformed. Here's why I'm with Trump.
To Nikki Haley.
There is no way that the American people are going to vote for a convicted criminal. They're not.
So I will be voting for Trump.
And of course, Trump has surrounded himself with people like this, Stephen Miller, who I would never call a Nazi because, that's just not fair to Nazis.
Children will be taught to love America. Children will be taught to be patriots. Children will be taught civic values for schools that want federal taxpayer funding. So as we close the Department of Education and we provide funding to states, we are going to make sure that these funds are not being used to promote communist ideology.
The first 100 plus days has been an amazing display of spineless, self-serving cuckolds who seem to revel in our nation's decline. And while Trump is promising to violate the Constitution in a number of ways, the Congress, run by John Thune and altar boy Mike Johnson, are washing their hands like Pontius Pilate after taking a dump.
And then on Saturday, seemingly out of nowhere, called for the suspension of the Constitution.
This Congress has allowed Trump to attack the very substance of our democracy, deporting U.S. citizens, the latest a child with cancer, and of course cutting funds for cancer research.
You see, my friend Nathan here had a very rare form of cancer called fibrosarcoma. Nathan died a few months after all these pictures were taken. But cancer research caused him to be around for another year, so his family had another year, a quality year, with him. And that is one of the reasons why I make this video. Because you see, we had a bill in Congress to prevent a government shutdown that both Democrats and Republicans agreed on until Elon Musk stepped in. They cut $190 billion from pediatric cancer research.
Now Trump is threatening to arrest members of the media and suspend habeas corpus.
It's the enemy from within.
And as this MAGA Congress watches Man-Titty single-handedly position the U.S. as an ally of a mass murderer who has 5,000 nukes pointed at American cities.
No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want.
They're also watching Trump's second act, destroy our nation's judiciary.
The FBI has just arrested a Milwaukee judge accused of trying to help a man evade immigration authorities. In a now deleted post on X, the FBI director writes that Judge Hannah Dugan intentionally misdirected agents. ABC News Justice reporter Alex Mallon has the details. Alex, what do we know so far?
Well, we don't know why the FBI director deleted that post, but we do know from our affiliate in Wisconsin that Judge Hannah Dugan did make her initial appearance this morning. She was charged with 2 federal crimes. That includes concealing a person from discovery and arrest, and the second count is obstruction of federal proceedings. But this is a dramatic escalation, obviously, of the Trump administration's, war with the judiciary. They have been previewing the possibility that they would seek charges against any judge or federal officer or even state officers who they say obstruct lawful deportation efforts by this administration.
But unlike the congressional MAGA sycophants, the courts aren't backing down.
With breaking news, a Trump-appointed federal judge in Texas ruled that the president unlawfully invoked the Alien Enemies Act and blocked the administration from quickly deporting some alleged gang members. I want to quickly bring in Priscilla Alvarez, who's got the details. Priscilla, tell us more.
Dana, this is a significant blow for the Trump administration, which has wanted to lean on this sweeping wartime authority, the Alien Enemies Act. Well, a federal judge in Texas saying just moments ago that the president exceeded his authority by invoking this law that was intended to be used during wartime. Let me read you a snippet of what he said. He said, quote, allowing the president to unilaterally define the conditions when he may invoke the AEA, the Alien Enemies Act, and then summarily declare that those conditions exist would remove all limitations to the executive branch's authority under the AEA and would strip the courts of their traditional role of interpreting congressional statutes.
Justice Brown Jackson has forcefully and demonstrably condemned Trump's attacks on judges who have blocked his ass-crazy shitstorm increasingly hostile rhetoric, which poses not only a real and virulent threat to our political fabric, but to our freedom and rights as well. Speaking before a judges' conference, Jackson said, the attacks aren't random. They seem designed to intimidate, and the threats and harassment are attacks on our democracy and our system of government, and they ultimately risk undermining our Constitution and the rule of law. Though she didn't mention Trump by name, she didn't have to. Everyone knows where the threat originates. And now SCOTUS has to face a reality that Trump is considering arresting federal judges.
You guys arrested a Milwaukee County Circuit judge for allegedly helping illegal immigrants get away. As you guys look at other judges, would you ever arrest somebody higher up on the judicial food chain, like a federal judge or even a Supreme Court justice?
Well, that's a hypothetical question. Again, I defer you to the Department of Justice.
Now, as dim-witted as propaganda Barbie is, she probably doesn't understand the Constitution, which clearly states that the only way a federal judge may be removed is by impeachment and conviction, which isn't going to happen.
And also, we cannot allow a handful of communist, radical left judges to obstruct the enforcement of our laws and assume the duties that belong solely to the President of the United States. Judges are trying to take away the power given to the president to keep our country safe.
You're an idiot! Which brings me back to Amy Coney Barrett. Barrett was one of Trump's 3 appointments, along with Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. To call Barrett religious is like saying Rudy is unstable. That is crazy! Amy Coney Barrett belongs to a weird Christian cult that espouses some super nutty stuff. But, and this is important, Barrett recused herself from a case the court heard this week on whether public funds should be used for religious charter schools.
If you don't like our religion, then we don't want you in our country.
Now, she won't say why, but it is a positive sign that Barrett at least respects the appearance of conflict of interest, and really, that's what all government is supposed to do. Unlike man-titties, she does not seem willing to violate her judicial responsibilities to appease the diapered one. Now, am I grasping at straws? Maybe. But federal judges, unlike the House, are appointed for life, and that makes them safe from people like Trump. But it also makes the 2026 and 28 congressional elections extremely important, as a simple majority in the House and 67 votes in the Senate would mean that Trump could fully and irrevocably destroy our nation from the ground up. And as long as the court has Thomas and Alito, who both supported the insurrection, our future will rest in the hands of 7 men and women. But ultimately, it's not their hands that matter, it's yours.
Snap out of it!
Goddamn right. It's not fair.
Terrorizing our communities.
Are your leaders incompetent, unqualified people compromising national security?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Eating the dogs.
They had what?
Bloated and fat and disgusting.
We're a nation that speaks English.
Back and look, if something like that thing's dark ugly.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.